Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian. Let's talk PR and marketing and influencers. I got pretty snippy with a PR agent today. I'm not going to name any names, but he was apparently in charge of soliciting influencers and YouTubers to cover a Kickstarter for an upcoming game. And I'm not going to mention the game either because they don't need this shit. They're not involved in this. At least I wouldn't assume that they've been giving him the script that he was following. But anyway, the reason I got snippy with him was because he sent me this blanket email that just said, "Hi, here's a game. I think you and your viewers might fall in love with it," was in fact the phrase that he used. And then, links to the demo and when the campaign goes live and press kits and all of this shit. This is nothing new. By the way, I'm not special. People send you shit when you have a YouTube channel. You don't have to have millions of subscribers. You don't even have to be particularly good at what you do. Case in point, you're still going to get PR people and sometimes even content, or game creators, not necessarily content creators, but I guess a game counts as content. But anyway, you're going to get creators basically hitting you up and saying, "By the way, I'm making this. Would you like to feature it on your channel?" in exchange for exposure. Now, whether or not my exposure counts for anything is not my place to judge. I would lean towards the not. I've done this in the past. People have reached out and said, "Hey, I'm making this game. Would you like to show it on your channel?" I'm going, "Yeah, sure, why not?" But I always, parentheses, the caveat is, you're not going to get extra sales out of me playing your game. And you're not going to get extra attention out of me playing your game. I'm not that big an influencer, It's not like I'm going to rake in the big crowd for you, and my style of playing your game is probably not going to do you any favors, but, sure, fuck it. I've done it in the past. And when I've done it in the past, it's been because people have been kind enough to write me a personal email. And I don't mean this in a sort of ass-kissy way. It's a, "Hello, big fan, would you like to play?" It's nothing like that at all. It's just a, "Hi, hello trolls, hello Space Quest historian. I've watched your channel. I think you might enjoy this game because it seems to be up your alley, because you have a weird sense of humor," whatever, that sort of thing. It's sort of personal. It's sort of direct. It's to the point, and there's not a lot of bullshit in that. Just, "Hey, dude, I've made this game. I've watched your channel. I think you might be interested in it, and the people who watch your shit might be interested in it as well. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to chat and all that shit." That's fine. I've done that in the past. This particular instance was just a blanket press releasey kind of thing. This thing has been copy and pasted to a million other YouTubers, I'm sure. And I responded. Initially I ignored it because that's kind of what I probably should have kept doing, actually, but I ignored it because it didn't look like it was up my alley, and it was a very impersonal email. It was, it was just copy and paste shit. So I ignored it. But they followed it up. This PR agency, again, the game itself, the game that they were promoting the Kickstarter of, are not involved in this in any way. This is a PR agency hired by the people making the game. So whatever the PR agency are doing, that's their business. And the game creators, I'm leaving out of this. Probably a very nice game, nice people. Let's not talk about them at all. So the PR people follow up with "Oh shit, by the way, there was a little problem with the build that we sent you. Here's an experimental build that fixes a couple of bugs," and just sort of kept nudging in a way, probably very innocently, but again, a lot of copy and paste shit, and it just felt very impersonal. So for one reason or another, I replied. I probably shouldn't have done that. It was a terse reply, I admit. And credit to this PR gentleman who, kept a stiff upper lip throughout the conversation that ensued. Very short conversation, because he replied and said, "I've watched your channel. Sure I have." And I didn't believe him for a second, so I sent another reply. This one was slightly more terse. Basically, what I accused him of was that this dude hasn't watched my channel. He's found a list of YouTubers who do videos on adventure games, and he's just decided to copy and paste this to 100,000 different YouTubers all at once, and in the hopes of getting free publicity for the Kickstarter. Maybe I'm just way off base here. Maybe this is how the game is played, and I'm just too high up my own ass to, realize that this is how the game is played. Maybe I should be thankful that people even take the time to put me on lists like this and say, here's a game, would you like to play it? That's a kindness, obviously, and I'm not saying it's not a kindness. I'm just saying, if I'm going to give your game, and in this instance, the game that someone has hired you to promote, if I'm going to give that attention and whatever promotion I can give it, which again is not a lot and probably will do nothing for your campaign whatsoever, because I'm a douchebag. I'm a dick to the games I play. I don't know. Have you watched the channel? So if you're gonna do that, at least make it look like you actually have watched my channel. I'm not expecting a fan letter. I am not expecting pats on the back or ass kissing or anything like that. I'm just expecting a personal letter. I'm expecting you to write me, not to just put me on a blanket shotgun blast list of 1,000 people who get the same message. And I realize this is perhaps holding them to a higher standard than they need to be. I could be totally off base, but here's a real world example of when this approach worked on me. Because obviously this one didn't. I'm not going to play the game. I wish them the best of luck on the Kickstarter and whatever, and I'm still not going to mention any names, because you don't need that. And they certainly, the game creators, don't need that. Again, they are not part of this. But here's a real world situation where it did work for me. So some time ago, I played a game called Bear With Me, which turned out to be one of my favorite sort of where the hell did that come from kind of games. An episodic affair which started off kind of and ended up and they started out, the creators of the game started out by sending me one of those blanket copy and paste press releasey kind of thing. It was even a little on the cute side and not in the fun way. It was one of those, can you help Mr. Bear, whatever the fuck his name was, rescue his something. It was like the headline of an in-game newspaper kind of thing, and it was just a little cutesy, and I ignored it, which is again what I should have done with this one, but I didn't. Apparently I was in the mood. But anyway, so I ignored Bear With Me, the first reach out. Just ignored it, because I'm a dick like that. And a couple of weeks pass, and then they hit me up again. But this time, it's obviously one of the people on the development team writing me personally, going, "Hey trolls, we sent." I can't even remember if they actually said we sent you this email earlier. We just wanted. No, I think they actually just started hitting up people again, but this time they did it right. I don't think they referred to that previous email at all. Now that I think about it, I should have looked this up before I started recording. But anyway, they wrote me a personal email and said, "Hey, watched your channel. You know what? This game might look like something on the surface, but stick with it. We think you might really enjoy it." I was like, okay, I'll bite this one. It was an episodic game, so one of the key differences here, and again, this is not something you need to do, but it was a pretty cool thing. One of the key differences was in their first copy and paste email, there were no Steam keys for YouTubers and anything. And in the follow-up email, they did include a Steam key. for the game. I was perfectly prepared. I want this on the record. I was perfectly prepared to pay for it on my own, and I've done this in the past when people have said, I want you to play my game on your channel. Would you like a Steam key? I have said, no, I will purchase this on my own because I am invested in your game. And I was invested in this one too, but they sent me a Steam key without me asking for it. So, you know, at this point, I'm just like, okay, they sent me a personal email and they sent me a Steam key for the game. So now I really have no excuse not to play it. So now I feel like I don't feel I essentially owe them, but I feel like, you know what, they seem nice. They seem nice. They really want me to play this. They really want me to play it. And I guess there's some ego stroking in there, sure, but the key difference was it wasn't just some copy and paste bullshit. I've seen copy and paste bullshit that had a Steam key in it and I've still ignored it. So it's not the Steam key. Don't get hung up on the Steam key thing. It's just that they wrote me a personal email. And the reason why I bring up Bear With Me is because they started off on the wrong foot and I wouldn't give them the time of day. I was like, nah, fuck it. Not playing that. Didn't look like my thing, and you know what? Screw it. I wish them well. That kind of thing. And then they followed up. But they followed up in a personal way and they went, you know what? We actually think you're going to like this. We've had a look at your shit. You might actually like to stick with it. And I was like, okay, you've got my attention now. And they included a key for, you know, just like, hey, we really mean this sincerely. But again, if they hadn't included a key, I would have gone out and bought the shit on my own and played it anyway. And I'm glad I did. So let that be a lesson of sorts to PR agencies, especially because I know it's not an easy job. And I think the PR person that sort of triggered this whole outburst needs a pat on the back for, maintaining a stiff upper lip and maintaining a cool demeanor about it, even when faced with obvious douchebaggery on my part, which I do feel kind of bad about. But I've seen it before, and it kind of irritates me when someone just sort of bull and china shops their way into a community or just blanket shotgun emails everyone and just goes, we've made a game! You should be excited for this reason. Just like, no, hello, have we met? Could you give me something? And I don't mean in the material sense, just in a sort of, hello, nice to meet you kind of way. That would be nice. So I guess my advice, if you are promoting the game that you've been making, or you're hiring a PR agency to do that promoting for you, which is fair, obviously. People got to make a living. Just work on it. If you're gonna provide them a list of people, or if they're gonna go out and find a list of people that could potentially do you a solid by featuring your game in whatever capacity, at least make some ground effort to get to know that channel. I don't mean watch every video they've ever made, but maybe skim a couple and just see what kind of tone they're going for, and just, you can still copy and paste some shit, but at least include a personal introduction. That goes a long way. Just go, hey, we've, watch your channel. You might find this interesting because... And that's really what I was missing from this email I got today was that because. There was a phrase in there that I mentioned earlier that kind of stuck with me, that I think you and your, I can't remember if it was fans, because that's a phrase that bothers me, but you and your audience will fall in love with. Not might fall in love with, will fall in love with. And I was like, really? Why? That's a bold statement if ever I heard one. Why am I going to head over heels, divorce my wife and hold up a boombox outside this game's house, playing Rod Stewart at full blast and throwing pebbles at the window? Why is this game that hot shit for me? Just a sentence would have worked. So, but anyway, kudos to that PR person for not losing their cool, even though I did. And I feel kind of rotten about it, but at the same time, I've seen this shit before, and it kind of irritates me. And I know this is going to keep me off some lists. This is going to make people not want to contact me and play their games, and I understand that, because I can be kind of a dick, and I do realize that. And even when people have sent me games and I've said, yeah, sure, I'll play this, and then I end up being a dick to the game on my channel, which is not very nice. One time I was even a dick to the game while I was playing it with the person who made the game. Fuck, Julia Minamata, I'm so very sorry for that old Crimson Diamond video. Dear God, I mean, she took it in stride, but yeah, I'm not a good influencer. I'm not even a influencer, but if I was one, I'm not a good one. I'm not doing your games any favors. I will happily play them, although I don't do gameplay videos at the moment. I will probably return to doing that at some point, and I will happily play your game if you can tell me why, I would be interested instead of just shotgun blasting a press release to 1,000 people, hoping that they'll give you something for nothing, essentially. And when I say something for nothing, in this instance, it was promoting a Kickstarter and there was a game demo. That game demo, I would assume, is available to anyone anyway. So this really was a something for nothing deal. If someone sends you a blanket email, but it has a Steam key in it, for instance, then you've got at least you've got my respect for giving your game away free. But on the off chance, because then you've actually invested something. But, at the same time, just a little smidge of personality, just a little, how do you do? Goes a long way. I've rambled enough, haven't I? You know what? Take care. I wish you all the best if you know who I'm referring to. I wish the game creators all the best, and I just dug myself a huge hole here. Who gives a shit? Bye. See you around the Chrono Stream.